welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight on our Do What You Like Fitness Conversation series, where we are talking with inspiring people who are inspiring others every day in the work that they do. And tonight we are very lucky to have New York City Ballet soloist. She's also a choreographer. She's a podcaster. She's an event planner. I have the amazing opportunity of working with her with our seniors. She leads hosts a beautiful ballet series. She formerly trained at the University of North Carolina School of Arts at the School of American Ballet, and of course now she's at New York City Ballet. So welcome, Claire Kretzschmar. Yay!
Thank you guys for having me. Thanks to Ray and Whitney.
We're so happy to have you here. So, I mean, it's, wow, quite an honor to have someone your caliber who dances for one of the most famous dance companies in the world. So can you tell us a little bit about how you got started in dance and just your journey in dance and what you do to stay physically fit, mentally, physically, and spiritually?
Yeah, well, I think when I was young, I was such an active child growing up that my parents put me in ballet classes. Actually, I would say they did tap and jazz classes first before ballet. And I was about 4 years old when they did that. And I just kept doing various dance classes all growing up through childhood. And eventually, my parents and teachers and I decided to hone in on ballet. So around middle school time, I auditioned for some bigger schools and did more classes and wore point shoes for the first time. And that was a pivotal moment where we decided to take a step, like really as a family, and in coordination with my teachers as well, to focus on the ballet technique, which is so complicated and takes a long time to master. So when I was in middle school, I went to the University of North Carolina School of the Arts, ended up going there for high school. And at that time, I also went to summer courses at the School of American Ballet, which is the school that feeds into New York City Ballet. And it was at the School of American Ballet where I fell in love with the Balanchine technique. Balanchine is the founder and main choreographer of New York City Ballet. And I just started to love that style of dancing because it was very athletic, it was very musical and beautiful. So when I was in my 12th grade year of school, I moved to New York City, stayed at the School of American Ballet for a year of intense training with hopes to maybe get into New York City Ballet. And then about a year and a half after going there, I was asked to join New York City Ballet by the then director, Peter Martins. And I was an apprentice for about a year. I was a quarter ballet member for 8 years, and then I've been a soloist for 3 years. And it's definitely, I think ballet itself is such a physical activity. It really requires you to use every muscle in your body and to think in relation to how you use that muscle. So like at different times in my life, I've really made ballet be the main the main physical activity in my life, because that in itself is taxing and exciting and wonderful. But most often I do routines in addition to ballet class in order to stay physically fit, whether if it's like the off season and I'm not dancing as much with the ballet company, or even when we are performing and rehearsing, I like to do extra things in order to keep certain muscles strong that tend to get weak. And also, like, dancing professionally is often, if not always, an adrenaline rush. But sometimes I need to do some kind of other activity to release endorphins and to just get things out, because I think when the thing that you love is your job and it's a physical fitness activity in a way, um, it it sometimes can be less fun because you're really trying to make it like excellent. Like, we have such a high standard that we're aspiring towards. So that's why I also do some of the other things, like I've done Zumba classes at times, and I've even taught what I call fake Zumba classes, which is basically just fulfilling a desire in me to like do social dances that are structured with other people to good music. Um, I also, one of my other go-to physical activities is swimming. That it's a low impact activity. It gets your heart rate up. It uses all of your muscles in your body. It's a very like lengthening activity. So for ballet, it helps to have like long and strong muscles. And we even had there was an exercise teacher named Peter Frame, and he was a former ballet dancer with New York City Ballet. And he used to tell the boys that he taught, like, lengthen to strengthen. And so that's something that I think swimming really helps, is that like you're like, by reaching into the water and pulling it, you are like lengthening and then strengthening by activating the muscle against the water. And then I would say like a few other things. Pilates is a go-to for me. Recently I've been running because that is just something that is free and it's nice weather outside. And then also gyrotonics has helped me a lot. And it's the same kind of concept of lengthening to strengthen and aligning the different muscles and bones in your body to help be a ballet dancer.
That's the first time I've heard of that. What's gyrotonics?
Gyrotonics, it is, if I can describe it as best I can, it uses a lot of circles. Like, you are doing a lot of things in circles, and you are doing relatively small and gentle movements, but in a very particular way, so that you maximize the stretch and you maximize the activity in your muscles. And like, and I think a main component of it too, or a main intention, is to get your whole body to work as one and to work efficiently and in a fluid way. And I know that's kind of vague, but I would say like a more tangible description is it uses a lot of circles. Like, you do a lot of leg circles, a lot of circles with your arms. There is an apparatus that you can use, or a few of them. Yeah, that's as best I can do to describe gyro.
I'll like Google some YouTube videos or something too, just to see it. You know?
Yeah, do a background check on gyrotonics, just so I didn't make it
for people to do those classes. I've never done one myself. I feel like I've done so many different fitness things, but that I have not done. But I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, I would say it's kind of a niche physical fitness outlet, at least like right now. It really helps ballet dancers, but I think like other people, it's not like absolutely necessary, although it can be really helpful, I would say.
So what does your what's your schedule like? So when you're dancing, when you all are in season dancing, what's your schedule like, and what do you do? because I'm sure it's probably pretty hectic. I mean, you're going to tell us in a moment, but what do you do to rejuvenate yourself during the season when you're dancing?
Yeah, so the schedule is we start in the morning at about 10:30 with a technique class, which is where we do exercises holding onto a bar. We do things like plies, bending our knees, tendus, pointing our feet. And then we eventually move into the center work where we don't hold on to anything. And that class usually takes about an hour or an hour and 15 minutes. And then the rest of the day, which is, I would say, from about noon to 5 or 6 p.m., we have rehearsals for the ballets that we're learning or the ballets that are getting ready to be performed in the evening. Usually people, well, when I was in the corps, when I was dancing in multiple pieces every night, I would have rehearsals for about, I would say, 5 hours a day in that afternoon segment. And then we would have about a 2-hour break to put on makeup and prepare for the show in the evening, where again, we would have to be at our best at 7:30 or 8 p.m. at night. And then the show would end around 10 or 10:30, depending on what pieces you were in. So it's really a 12-hour day, if not more than that sometimes, because of I usually get to the studios early and do a little warm up to prepare for the day. But right now, in my current state as a soloist, I am performing less, and I usually rehearse less as well. So I actually have some more free time during the day, but it usually fills up with odds and ends tasks and like taking on other projects, like leading the lecture series at the retirement home in New York City. So it's a different kind of schedule than my first schedule in the company, which was like dancing all the time. Now it's a little more balanced, but I would say to rejuvenate, I really do try to eat well, and especially when we're in a performance season, I think about like when is like a good time to eat, to have enough time to like let it digest and get ready for the show. Power naps are really good for me. And I mean, I just like simple things too, like reading a book, watching a favorite TV show, being with friends. And in the summer months, I do really like to be outside if at all possible. And I'll just sit in nature and like reflect, listen to the sounds. And then a special treat for me is to like be in Central Park and have my really nice Bose noise canceling headphones on. Yeah, I think you have the same ones or similar ones, right? Yeah. So I put those on and I just listen to epic music. It can be, oftentimes I go with the classical, but sometimes it's like ABBA or something more like pop and upbeat.
That's right. You got any questions? I don't want to dominate the conversation here with the questions.
Well, both of you ladies are the dancers, so I guess you know everything about it. Let's see. Well, some things I've learned about you and about dance from you doing the lecture series with us. And I remember when you first came and you guys were the seniors had asked questions about like the age and retirement in dance and ballet, and it was like super young, so I know you said you started at like 4, right? Or something like that. You started dancing at 4. So I assume if you're in ballet and dance and things like that, you start really early. And then by what age was it that you said most people in ballet retire?
I think if I could, my best guess is mid 30s,
30s.
mid to late 30s, maybe even sooner. But my average that I tell people is mid 30s. But we do have some people who go till their 40s, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But that's pretty rare.
When I think of ballet, I think of gymnasts a lot of times. Do you get a lot of comparisons to ballet
Actually,
dancers and gymnasts?
I think our spheres of training are distant in a way. Like I don't really see a ton. I don't have a lot of interactions with gymnasts, so I'm not really thinking about them often. And people don't always reference them when they're talking to us.
That's me. That's
But
what's going on.
But with that said, though, like when I watch the gymnasts in the Olympics, I see so many similarities because they're pointing their feet, they're jumping, they're turning, they're balancing. There's so many similarities, but I don't often think about the relationship that we have just because they're not in my and our immediate circle.
Right.
Also,
It's
your
just
training.
me looking from outside, and it's like when they do the floor work, other than the flips. But
Other than the flip,
sometimes-
yeah, we can't really do the flips like a man or
Come on, Sarah, I want to see whatever you call those. Like, what was it, Simone Biles? What is that she made famous?
Twisties?
That twisting triple thing in the air.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, wow, insane. But I think, their training is really intense, and so is your training. It's separate training, but maybe Teray, maybe that's where you are also seeing maybe the similarities besides the jumping, the leaping, the turning, the twisting. The training is hardcore for both. And it's like, to be the best ballet dancer, you got to be in it to win it, all the way. And the same thing with the gymnastics. You got to be in it to win it. And the training is super hard. I mean, what was it, Martha Graham? Wasn't it Martha Graham that said dancers are the athletes of God? Dancers are athletes. They are just as much an athlete as a gymnast, as anyone else in the Olympics. Yes, dancers are athletes. It's in a different way. It's a different training, just like all these other Olympic sports have different training. Dancers too, especially ballet dancers. What you guys put your body through. I mean, I trained in ballet, but my God, what you guys go through at that professional level, people don't get it. I think everybody should be able to go in and sit and watch a professional ballet class, to see the control, the discipline, the sweat, the tear, all of that comes out in class. It's no joke. It is no joke.
Yeah, I think watching ballet, it would be like really interesting for people to witness, because yeah, it's so interesting. It's so interesting what we do every day, and we get so sweaty just in class, and then we have to do like 5 hours of rehearsal and then a show. So it's very much like it's an endurance sport in a way, because you have to, like, in addition to executing well in the show, say when you have 150%, and to know how to use all your muscles that for that 30 minutes to an hour of the show, however long your piece is. You're also like, you have to pace during the day. Like you can't expend all of your energy. So it's pretty cool. It's like, and then it's in the way, it's like you do a little marathon every day.
Yeah, because then, at night you've got to be on because you've got subscribers coming to the ballet who are coming to see one of the most famous dance companies in the world. and you guys have to be on. Like there's no not being on. You're being paid to be on. And that, I mean, yes, as a dancer, you know, that adrenaline rush it's a high. It's great, but it also gets tiring. Like you said, you need that time to decompress, to come down. Because when you're, I mean, so when you get home at night, are you like so high from your adrenaline rush on stage? Like what do you do at night? Because you have to go to bed at some point. Are you like going to bed at midnight? And what do you do to decompress when you get home from a show?
Yeah, that's actually something I've had a lot of problems with during my time at New York City Ballet is like even though at the end of a performance I'm so exhausted, I am on a high, and it takes me generally, I would say at least maybe 2.5 hours to fully wind down. And at that point, it's usually already 12:30 when I'm ready to go to bed, which is pretty late considering like the amount of work that was done in the day. And also considering, say, how early I like to get up to prepare for every day. So to wind down though, I'll have a good meal or a snack, depending on like how I chose to like nourish throughout the day. I put my feet in an ice bucket because that like it takes away inflammation from wearing point shoes all day. And it's nice to have something cool after being really hot and sweaty. I will usually take a shower. So like if I did have a performance, I would take a shower at the theater. And I mean, really just it depends. Like every night's a little different, but definitely the ice bucket, definitely like good food. I like to be quiet after shows. Like I actually my adrenaline is way up, but a lot of times like my mind wants to be quiet because there's been so much that's gone on in the day and like so many stresses about just doing the rehearsals, getting ready for the show, and then doing the show, that I just, whatever I do in the evening is usually tame. And like, yeah, having a book, like like having a quiet conversation with a friend, watching a favorite TV show, or just really being quiet and thinking about the day, like reflecting on the day. That's also like a go-to like wind down activity.
Do you have any rituals that you like to do in the morning when you get up? Do you have like a set kind of schedule or things that you enjoy doing to start your day?
Yeah, the absolute first thing I do is say a prayer. I like give thanks to God for giving me the opportunity to wake up today and to have an adventure, whatever that is. And I also ask God for strength for whatever I need, like that day or that week. And I might also like ask for prayers for other people too who I know are in need. And then I will hopefully make my bed shortly after that. Like, already kind of plant the discipline. And I'll make my breakfast. I'll do some easy reading or easy emails, and like easy emails being like maybe it's like catching up with a friend, just like saying, hey, this is what's going on in my life. Nothing businessy too early in the morning.
Not my crazy emails. Claire, what are we doing? Or the lecture series.
It's 7:00 in the morning.
Yeah, no, those don't bother me. And again, like this is like, we all know that we get bombarded by emails today. That's like the nature of this world. So it does take like discipline to be like, okay, I see this email. but I'm gonna wait a little bit to respond because it's
Yep.
actually like not the most pressing thing right now. Actually,
Okay.
like me preparing for the day in a peaceful way is the most pressing thing.
Mhm.
So anyway, I'll have some like easy reading, easy emails, and that's really it. Like those are the main things. Like I say my prayers, I make my bed, I have food, and I read and just like be at peace for um yeah, a little bit. And then I do though but in preparing for the physical parts of the day, I will do a little series of abs and like just very simple arm circles and leg stretches on the floor. And then I go to do ballet. And that's really it.
Cool. So
Yeah.
I
Go
um
ahead.
I was always curious about the like you said, you get paid to be on stage, and I know that these ticket sales are large from what I know, and on Broadway and different things, ballet. So if there's a ton of people doing a big show, I always wondered, like, how is it a sustainable paycheck, like for each person, or like you're a soloist, right? So I guess that would mean like you're the star
I'm actually,
lead.
I mean, I do featured roles, but I'm not often the star. Like
Okay.
I do roles where you would see me in the front regularly,
Mhm.
but I'm not like star status.
In my eyes, you're star
You're
status.
a star, yeah.
Aren't
And
we
this is
all?
coming from somebody, somebody who doesn't know too much about ballet other than me seeing dancing and movement and, the shoes and point. I don't, so I always wondered about that. And then I wondered, do you have endorsement opportunities, or is it just a paycheck from the show?
I a select number of dancers do get endorsement opportunities. And then those, like we would call them the stars, like they are the ones who have endorsements. And that is something that happens in the ballet world. But I don't get endorsements. I just I just dance on the stage for my job, and I get, yeah, we get paid a certain amount per week. So it's not like if I did one show a week as opposed to the 7 that a quarter ballet dancer is doing. Like I would get paid a similar amount if I had 1 or 2 shows compared to like 4 or 5 a week. It's
Right.
simple. You do actually get a little bit more like if you do a certain number of shows, but it's pretty set. So I don't have to do a ton of um, hunting for extra income because it's pretty stable. Whereas like Broadway, it's so difficult because if they get in a show
Mhm.
like say I don't know, like Hamilton,
Mhm.
and then say if Hamilton closes, those actors and dancers are out of a job and they have to search for the next one.
Mhm.
So we don't have to do that unless we like need to leave the company or desire to leave. So once you're in, it's nice to have that steady paycheck.
So you dance, but you also choreograph. So you've gotten more into that lately. Can you tell us a little bit about the garage show, the Nutcracker Garage Show that you're doing, and how it's really taken off? It's become a whole new
A holiday
life.
staple.
Yeah. Tell
No.
us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I started this series called The Tiny Garage Show from my parents' garage in North Carolina during the pandemic because I was sad that theaters were closed and wanted an outlet to share my craft. And We did a first performance in the summer of 2020 with my friend who plays piano. We did a show in the fall. And then the Nutcracker Garage Show was by far the biggest hit because we had students from the North Carolina School of the Arts, which is my alma mater. We had some of them participate. We had a violinist as well as a pianist. And I choreographed a new Nutcracker that was about 40 minutes long. We did the bread and butter of Act One, which is like a really condensed party scene, a little battle scene, a snow scene. And then Act Two was just a series of solos and even like shortened solos compared to the main Nutcracker that people usually do. And we had audiences sit in the driveway. We had heaters for the Nutcracker Garage Show. And we did 4 sold out performances of the Nutcracker.
That's
and
great.
All from your garage.
all
Yeah,
from my garage, technically my parents' garage.
Your garage, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
was sad that I couldn't make it, but I will get to one of those.
I'm sure you will. I know you will.
And now tell us about how it moved. You did in Saratoga, right?
Yeah, we went on tour and I had a pianist and a singer do pieces with me in Saratoga Springs, which is the place where New York City Ballet travels to every summer to do their summer residency. So it was cool that I got to go this past year and do shows there, but even though they weren't with New York City Ballet, it still felt like the usual trip up to Saratoga Springs to dance. And that was awesome.
And you did it tell us about the space that you did it in Saratoga. I mean, it was like a garage, a barn. It was a barn, right?
It was a garage, but like technically it's this warehouse space that is a part of the Saratoga Children's Theater, which is relatively new. It's actually been around for a while, but it's this big warehouse space with one garage door that's like kind of off to the side. And they have professional sets because they're a children's theater. So we got to use their elegant backdrops and their stage lights, because at home in North Carolina, it's just like we looked around the garage and found random lights and put them by the stage, which is a piece of marley floor that ballet dancers dance on. So, but the Saratoga Children's Theater, they had their A game on and helped us like amp up the show just that much more.
I think that's so awesome. It makes me think back because you know how I love classic dance movies, right? So there was one of my favorite movies called Summer Stock with Judy Garland and Gene Kelly, and in this movie, they put together a show outside, kind of in the barn, kind of garage-ish, you know? Yeah, and it kind of reminded me of that. I'm like, Claire's just putting together a whole show in a garage. This is incredible.
Yeah.
This is amazing. And now it's this thing. You have it's taking on a life of itself.
It does. And we've done 5 shows now in a garage, and people like it. And someone actually did tell me recently, they're like, I loved the putting on a show mentality like back in the day in the Hollywood musicals. It's like, let's put on a show.
Do it. You know, Judy Garland and Mickey Rooney did it. Then Judy Garland did it later with Gene Kelly in Summer Stock. It's like, let's put on a show. You made it happen. You took a time where people were like, what are we going to do? There's no live theater, you know, you're not performing, you know, you weren't doing what you were used to doing every single day, dancing, taking class, rehearsing, performing. And you made it happen during a time that was really, really tough for everyone. And you still had dance. Dance is powerful.
Yeah.
Freedom.
And live audience. So I love an audience.
Right.
Absolutely. That's amazing. Was there anything, and you choreographed another piece, right? Rachmaninoff Suites, you did for the New York Choreographic Institute, wasn't that
Yeah.
it?
Yes. Yes. And that was probably the most, that is probably the most formal piece that I've put together, in the sense that we were in a ballet studio. I had 5 dancers from New York City Ballet doing it. There were little costumes they had, and it was filmed in a really elegant way by 2 dancers from New York City Ballet. So it was kind of, that was the most balletic and, I guess, official choreography piece I've done yet. But yeah, and that could be found online too, in case people do want to watch it.
Yeah, we could show that to the seniors.
That would be great. I would
Yeah.
actually, that's a great, I should just, yeah, put together a little something.
Yeah, we could do that whenever you do another program. They would love to see that. They love watching you dance. Having you
Yes.
right there
You're
up
great.
close and
You're
personal.
really good. You're good. And everybody you bring with you is always really good too.
Yeah, they're so
Amazing.
great. So with New York City Ballet has so many wonderful dancers and like wonderful people, just like nice people to know and to engage with. So we're really lucky.
And the musicians that you bring, you know,
Yes, can't forget
yeah.
about them. The
Dance,
music is so important. Yeah.
Yeah.
the singers. I know they're not with New York City Ballet, but they had performed with you guys at that.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh yeah. That's okay. Everybody you bring with you.
Yeah, anybody that comes with you, we know they're going to be great.
there's a very, no, I'm just, it was like, there's a very intense curation process, but no, I you know, I know like which people have like certain gifts in, like, especially in regards to a certain ballet that we want to highlight at this lecture series. And yeah, I just try to pick the people that have that particular gift and can share it with the residents.
Well, that's a gift that you have, to be able to pick out the gifts.
It's like a talent.
Yeah.
It's like a talent scout in a way, you know. I'm just like
That's right. Well, is there anything else? I mean, where can people find you? Do you have your Instagram? Do you have, what social media do you have that people can follow you, and the Tiny Garage Show and New York City Ballet?
Okay. Well, I am on Instagram and Facebook. My Instagram is CKRETZ92. And then
We can do that.
so Kretzschmar, which is like part of my last name, 92 is my Instagram. And then I'm at my full name on Facebook, and I do have a YouTube channel that has my Tiny Garage Show series on it, and that's all that it has on there really. But you can just like Google search my name and YouTube and or Tiny Garage Show, and it should come up. But that's where all my garage show videos are.
That's
Oh,
great.
cool.
And people can subscribe.
People
Every
can,
time.
yeah. I have like a handful.
Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment on this video, and then go to Claire's page, like,
That's right.
subscribe, and comment on her videos.
That's right.
It's all about that liking and subscribing. Woo-woo.
And commenting.
Well, and when the you know, when the content is good and interesting and fun, and maybe people you know, maybe people you don't know, it's like, why wouldn't you want to subscribe?
Exactly. That's right. Well, is there anything else that we need to know about that we can share with others? Anything that, like, well, the New York City Ballet, the season is happening, right? September it starts?
Yeah, so the New York City Ballet is starting in the middle of September, I think like September 20 something. And we're gonna be doing a full lineup of shows like we used to do, which is really exciting. There won't be any intermissions, which could be difficult for the dancers, but yeah, we're excited to start back in our home theater at Lincoln Center and to share ballet with live audiences again.
It's exciting. Well, we can't wait to see you on the stage and see you at Brookdale.
Always.
Yeah, you have a big fan club there now. So
I love that place. I love it so much. Well, like the more I go, the more I go, like the more like the deeper the relationships become with the residents, and it really does. It's like a mutual nourishing between like the residents obviously receiving the gift of art, and then the dancers and the musicians who come like with me, they feel so nourished because the people really like warmly receive what they have to offer. Because sometimes like we just hear claps, and that's not the same as hearing someone say, I loved how you did this and it made me think about this. You know, we don't get to hear that as much.
Right. That's true. Well, thank you for everything. Thank you for the beautiful dancing. Thank you for being you. You have a very special talent, not only for dance, but for engaging with other humans.
Yes.
And it's everything that you do, you can tell comes from a very genuine, good place. And you're a beautiful human inside and out. And it is a true pleasure to know you and to be your friend. So, and thank you so much for being on here with us.
Thank you, Claire.
Thanks, Whitney and Teray. This was fun. I like what you're doing here. Do what you like. Do what you like.
Do what you like.
Do what you like. That's it. That's what it's all about, right? Sometimes you got to do all the things you don't like so you can do what you like. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Like we've gotten to that point that we're like, do what you like, do what you like. Yeah.
And at a certain point, like maybe the hard stuff becomes what you like, you know?
It's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people think we're crazy because we do all kind of hard stuff. They're like, what is wrong with you two? So me and Teray with our craziness, our workouts, and same thing with you too, Claire.
No, yeah,
you're very strict. You're strict.
Yeah. I'm pretty, yep. I carve out the time.
Yep.
I do, repetitions. I'm a little militant when it comes to my own craft.
Yeah. So you have to be, and that's why you're the best.
Well, yeah, in the company of the best.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Well, thank you guys.
Is there anything else to say? I guess that's it, right?
Yeah.
All right.
It was great having you. Always good to see you.
Casual.
Always good to see you and listen to you.
Yes.
Yeah, this is fun.
We'll do another episode with you, Claire. We'll do a on here.
You know, I'm here. As I always say, I'm like, you know where to find me. You know how to book me.
Right. We know where you live.
You know where I live.
We'll do something funny. We'll do a funny skit. You teaching me how to ballet.
Oh my God, that would be such a good video.
We can make it a funny skit. You teach me how to dance ballet.
Yes.
Ray, you're definitely onto something. I like what you're doing there.
Yep. I think
for fun, because I'm not trying to be a ballet dancer.
No, I'm seriously like only like militant with myself. I would love to teach a fun ballet class.
Do it.
Cool.
Yes.
Cover the basics.
Right. Okay. Deal.
That would be amazing. All right. We're going to make that happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Bye,
Bye, guys.
Good night, ladies.
Okay. Bye.